My name is Ryan Mitchell, and until 3 hours ago, I believed I had everything a man could want at 38. A beautiful wife, a comfortable home in Westbrook's nicest neighborhood, and the kind of stable marriage that made my divorced friends shake their heads in envy. Claire and I had built something solid over 12 years, or so I thought as I sat alone in our living room, her laptop open on my knees, watching my entire world crumble pixel by pixel. We'd met at my cousin's wedding. Claire was a bridesmaid, all golden hair and infectious laughter, drawing people to her like moths to flame. I was the awkward groomsman who spent most of the reception hiding behind my camera. She'd caught me trying to sneak out early and insisted I dance with her. "Life's too short to miss the good songs," she'd said, pulling me onto the floor. That was Claire. Spontaneous where I was cautious, social where I was solitary. Our life together had settled into comfortable rhythms. I'd leave for the tech firm at 7, code until 6, sometimes later when projects demanded it. Claire worked part-time at an upscale boutique, more for the social aspect than the money. My salary as a senior software engineer more than covered our needs. She'd kiss me goodbye each morning, text me funny memes during lunch, and greet me with stories about difficult customers or the latest drama among her friends. "You don't mind if I go out with the girls tonight, do you?" had become her refrain. And I never did mind. I trusted her completely. Why wouldn't I? She always came home to me, always curled against me in bed, always whispered that she loved me in that drowsy voice before falling asleep. Tonight was another girl's night. Claire had left 2 hours ago in her little black dress, the one that made her legs look incredible. She'd kissed me goodbye, her perfume lingering in the air long after the door closed. I'd settled in for my usual routine, some coding practice, maybe a documentary, early to bed. But my laptop was in my office and I didn't feel like moving. Claire's MacBook sat on the coffee table, and for once I thought, why not? We had no secrets. I just needed to check some API documentation. Her Facebook was open. I almost closed it immediately. I wasn't the type to snoop, but a message notification popped up from someone named Derek. The preview showed an image loading. I clicked it. The photo materialized slowly on our average internet connection, top to bottom like a terrible revelation. Claire against a brick wall, her black dress hiked up, kissing a man who definitely wasn't me. His hand was tangled in her hair, her leg wrapped around his waist. My brain struggled to process what I was seeing. This had to be old, before us. But the dress, she'd bought it last month. We'd been together when she tried it on, spinning in the boutique mirror, asking if it made her look fat. More messages loaded. Videos. My wife, my faithful, loving wife, with not one but 2 men, laughing as they groped her, leading them by their hands toward a door, the shaky camera following as she looked back with an expression I'd never seen on her face. Hungry, predatory. The timestamp. Tonight, 45 minutes ago. The laptop slid off my knees as I lurched to the bathroom, barely making it before dinner came back up. I knelt there on the cold tile, shaking, my perfect life swirling away like the water in the bowl. When I could stand, I went back to the laptop, saved everything to a thumb drive with the mechanical precision of a man in shock. Every photo, every video, every flirtatious message going back, God, months, years. The front door opened at 11:47. "Hey, baby," Claire called out, her voice bright. "You still up?" She appeared in the doorway, slightly disheveled but glowing. Happy. She crossed to where I sat and kissed my cheek. Her lips were swollen. Someone else had been kissing those lips less than 2 hours ago. "Missed you," she murmured against my ear. "The girls were so boring tonight. I should have stayed home with you." I smiled. Somehow, I smiled. "Missed you too," I said, the words ashes in my mouth. I woke at 5:23 a.m. to find Claire's arm draped across my chest, her breath warm against my shoulder. For 3 seconds, maybe 4, everything was normal. Then reality crashed back. The images, the videos, her leg wrapped around another man, and I had to consciously control my breathing to keep from hyperventilating. She murmured something in her sleep and pulled closer. Her skin against mine, which had always been a comfort, now felt like sandpaper. I lay perfectly still, counting my breaths, until her alarm went off at 6. "Morning, handsome," she said, stretching like a cat. The sheet slipped down, revealing the body I'd worshipped for 12 years, the body she'd given to strangers last night while I sat home like a fool. She leaned in for our morning kiss, routine, automatic, and I reciprocated, tasting betrayal and someone else's cologne. "Coffee?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. "You're the best," she replied, padding toward the shower. I stood at our kitchen counter, measuring grounds, adding water, going through motions while my mind raced. Every normal moment felt like performing Shakespeare. Claire emerged 20 minutes later in her robe, hair wrapped in a towel, humming something cheerful. She slid onto her usual bar stool and accepted her mug, 2 sugars, splash of cream, with a grateful sigh. "So what's your day look like?" she asked, same as every morning. "Code review for the Henderson project, lunch with Steve about the promotion," I answered automatically while my brain screamed. "You?" "Work until 3, then maybe shopping with Melissa," she replied casually. "Oh, and I was thinking we could try that new Italian place this weekend." I made reservations for Saturday. 4 days away. She was planning our future like she hadn't detonated a nuclear bomb in our marriage. "Sounds perfect," I said. At work, I locked my office door and pulled up a browser in incognito mode. Divorce lawyer near me. Prenuptial agreement enforcement. Infidelity divorce proceedings. The prenup had been her father's idea, actually, protecting his daughter from fortune hunters. Ironic that it would now protect me from her. The evidence on my thumb drive would make things clean. No alimony with documented infidelity. The house was mine, inherited from my grandmother before we married. She'd get her clothes, her car, and whatever was in her personal savings. After 12 years, she'd walk away with less than she came in with. I made an appointment with Harrison and Associates for tomorrow's lunch. Used a fake name, would pay cash. No paper trail until I was ready. The research became my anchor. Every article about divorce strategy, every forum post about cheating spouses, every legal precedent gave me purpose, direction. I wasn't just a victim. I was becoming an architect of consequences. "You okay?" Steve asked during our lunch. "You seem distracted." "Just thinking through some complex code," I lied. That evening, Claire was home when I arrived. She'd made dinner, chicken marsala, my favorite. We ate and talked about nothing, and I studied her across our dining table. How many times had she come home from another man and served me dinner with those same hands? How many lies had she told with that pretty mouth? "I might go out with the girls again Thursday," she said, not quite meeting my eyes. "You don't mind, right?" "Of course not," I replied, cutting my chicken with precise movements. "I trust you." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I love you, you know that?" she said softly. "I know," I answered, squeezing back while imagining those same fingers unbuttoning another man's shirt. After dinner, she curled against me on the couch, watching some reality show about cheating partners. The irony was excruciating. She commented on what idiots the cheaters were, how they always got caught. "Could you imagine?" she asked. "Throwing away a whole marriage for some cheap thrill?" I pulled her closer, kissed the top of her head, and said, "No, I really can't imagine that at all." Wednesday morning, I called in sick, a rarity that had my manager concerned enough to offer to send soup. Claire had already left for work, giving me the house to myself and the freedom to prepare. I spread everything out on my office desk, the thumb drive backup, printed screenshots, timeline documentation. 12 years of marriage reduced to evidence folders. The lawyer appointment yesterday had been perfect. Catherine Harrison, a shark in a pantsuit who'd smiled like a barracuda when I showed her the prenup and evidence. "This is remarkably comprehensive," she'd said, clicking through the files. "The prenup is ironclad, and with this documentation she won't get a penny beyond her personal property." "When can we file?" I had asked. "I can have papers ready by Monday. The question is timing. How do you want to handle the serving?" she'd responded. I'd thought about it constantly. "Monday evening, after work. I want to be there," I told her. She'd nodded approvingly. "Clean break." Smart. "Most men try to salvage things, give second chances. You're not most men," she observed. "No, I wasn't. Not anymore." Today, Claire announced she'd planned a weekend trip with the girls, a spa getaway she'd apparently been planning for weeks but forgot to mention. I encouraged her to go, even offered to pay for it. Her delight at my generosity turned my stomach, but I smiled through it. That night, I researched the men in the videos. Derek Morrison, married, 2 kids, worked at a marketing firm downtown. Jake Lindsay, engaged, wedding planned for next spring. Both had social media profiles full of happy couple photos, family vacations, proclamations of love. Their partners deserved to know. Thursday, while Claire was at her girls' night, I created anonymous email accounts, uploaded the evidence to secure servers, and scheduled emails to send Monday at 8 p.m., 1 hour after Claire would be served. The wives would receive everything: photos, videos, timestamps, their husbands' faces clearly visible. I added Claire's friends to the recipient list, her co-workers, selected members of our social circle. Not everyone, I wasn't a monster, but enough to ensure the truth would spread like wildfire through our small town. I also installed a small camera in our living room, hidden in the bookshelf. I wanted to record her reaction when she was served. Not for pleasure, I took no joy in this, but for protection. Who knew what she might claim I did or said? I needed documentation. Friday passed in a haze of false normalcy. We had dinner, watched a movie, made love, though I had to imagine she was someone else to maintain the performance. She fell asleep satisfied and secure while I lay awake planning contingencies. Saturday morning, she packed for her spa weekend with excessive enthusiasm, modeling different outfits, asking my opinion on swimsuits. The black bikini I noticed was new, purchased for someone else's eyes. "You sure you don't mind?" she asked, zipping her weekend bag. "I feel bad leaving you alone again." "Don't be silly," I replied, helping her carry the bag to her car. "You deserve to relax. Have fun with the girls." She kissed me goodbye. Long, deep, the kind of kiss that once made my knees weak. Now it just made me think of where that mouth had been. "I love you," she said against my lips. "I'll miss you." "I love you too," I replied, the biggest lie I'd ever told. After her car disappeared around the corner, I went back inside and began my final preparations. Changed the locks, a locksmith who worked weekends and took cash. Moved her belongings to the garage, neatly packed in boxes I'd hidden in the basement. Changed all my passwords, removed her from joint accounts, canceled her credit cards on my accounts. By evening, 12 years of intertwined lives had been surgically separated. Sunday, I met with Catherine one final time to review everything. "The process server will arrive at exactly 7 p.m. Monday," she confirmed. "You'll have the video recording as evidence of proper service. After she's served, she has 30 days to respond. But with this evidence, there's nothing to contest." "What if she refuses to leave the house?" I asked. "The house is yours, premarital property. If she refuses, we can have her removed. But most people leave voluntarily when confronted with evidence this damning," she explained. That night, alone in what was now just my house, I sat surrounded by the ghost of our marriage. Wedding photos still on the mantle. I'd leave those until after Monday. Her coffee mug in the sink. Her pillow still indented on her side of the bed. 24 hours from now, it would all be over. The woman I'd loved, trusted, given everything to, would finally face the consequences of her choices. I felt no satisfaction, no anticipation, just a cold, necessary resolve. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. "Spa is amazing. Wish you were here. Love you." I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, "Glad you're having fun. See you tomorrow." Tomorrow, when everything would change, when the mask would finally come off and Claire would learn that I wasn't the fool she'd taken me for. Claire's car pulled into the driveway at 6:34 p.m. Monday evening. I watched from the kitchen window as she retrieved her weekend bag, checking her reflection in the car window before heading inside. She looked refreshed, glowing, happy. "Hey, baby," she called out, dropping her bag by the door. "God, I missed you." The spa was incredible, but Janet would not stop talking about her divorce drama. Like, "We get it. Your ex is an asshole." The irony of her words hung in the air as she moved into the kitchen, wrapping her arms around me from behind. "How was your weekend?" she asked, pressing against my back. "Boring without me?" "Productive," I said, stirring the pasta sauce I'd started. "One last meal. Got a lot done." "Well, don't get too used to the bachelor life," she teased, moving to pour herself wine. "I'm not going anywhere." The doorbell rang at exactly 7 p.m. "I'll get it," she said, wine glass in hand. "Probably Amazon." I followed her to the living room, positioning myself with a clear view while staying out of the door's line of sight. The hidden camera would capture everything from its bookshelf perch. She opened the door to find a man in a dark suit holding a manila envelope. "Claire Mitchell?" he asked professionally. "Yes?" she responded with confusion in her voice. "You're being served," he stated, handing her the envelope. He took a photo of her holding it and walked away without another word. Claire stood frozen in the doorway, wine glass in one hand, envelope in the other. Slowly, she closed the door and turned to me. "Ryan? What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Open it," I instructed, my voice steady as granite. Her fingers trembled as she set down her wine and tore open the envelope. I watched her eyes scan the first page, petition for dissolution of marriage. Her face went white. "Is this a joke?" she stammered, her voice cracking. "This isn't funny, Ryan." "No," I agreed, pulling out my laptop from behind the couch cushion where I'd staged it. "It's not funny at all." I opened the file I'd prepared, a slideshow of evidence. The first image filled the screen, Claire against the brick wall with Derek, her dress hiked up, his tongue in her mouth. The timestamp clearly visible, last Thursday, 11:02 p.m. The papers fell from her hands, scattering across our hardwood floor. "Ryan, she started. I clicked to the next image, her with Jake, hands under his shirt. Then the video, the one where she led them both toward the bedroom, looking back at the camera with that hungry expression I'd never seen directed at me. "Stop," she whispered, sinking onto the couch. "Please stop." "Why?" I asked, continuing the slideshow. "You didn't stop." "Not last Thursday, not the week before, not 3 months ago at Derek's birthday party. Oh yes, I found those too." "It didn't mean anything," she exploded desperately. "I was drunk." "It was just fun. Just what, Claire? Just destroying our marriage for fun? Just making a fool of me while I sat home trusting you?" I interrupted. She dropped to her knees in front of me, tears streaming down her face, the first genuine emotion I'd seen from her in God knows how long. "Please, Ryan. Please," she begged. "I love you. It was a mistake. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, anything you want." "Anything?" I laughed bitterly. "How about a time machine? Can you undo 12 years of lies?" 12 years? "No, baby, no. It wasn't 12 years, she protested frantically. "It was just recently, I swear. The stress from work, and you were always so busy with coding, and I felt lonely. Don't! I cut her off sharply. Don't you dare blame me for your choices. I was here. Every night you said you were with the girls, I was here, waiting for you, trusting you. I pulled up more files on the laptop, credit card records I'd accessed, tagged locations from her social media, a comprehensive timeline of her deception. The spa this weekend? The Marriott downtown shows a charge for room service for 3. The girls' night 2 weeks ago? Your phone GPS puts you at Derek's house until 2 a.m., I revealed coldly. Each revelation hit her like a physical blow. She crumpled further, sobbing now, mascara running in black rivers down her cheeks. The prenup is ironclad, I continued clinically. Infidelity clause means you get nothing. No alimony, no claim on the house. Your car's in your name, so that's yours. Your clothes are in the garage. The garage? She looked up, confused through her tears. I changed the locks while you were at your spa. You're not staying here tonight, I informed her. You can't. This is my home too, she protested. No, I corrected, standing now, towering over her. This is my grandmother's house that I inherited before we married. You're a guest who's overstayed her welcome. She grabbed my legs, clinging desperately. Please, Ryan. Where will I go? I don't have savings. The boutique barely pays anything. You can't just throw me out with nothing, she pleaded. I stepped back, extracting myself from her grasp. That's not my problem anymore. Maybe Derek will take you in, or Jake, or whoever you're f***ing next week, I said coldly. I'll change, she screamed, her mascara-stained face contorted in desperation. I'll never see them again. I'll quit my job, stay home, whatever you want. What I wanted, I said quietly, was a faithful wife. That's the one thing you can never give me. I walked to the door and opened it. The evening air was cool, carrying the scent of our neighbor's barbecue. Normal life continuing while ours ended. Get out, I commanded. Ryan, please, she begged again. Get out, or I call the police and have you removed, I stated firmly. She stood slowly, unsteadily, like a newborn colt. Can I at least get my things? She asked weakly. They're in the garage, boxed and labeled. Take what you can carry now. You can arrange to get the rest later, with supervision, I replied. She moved toward the door, then stopped. What about my friends? Our friends. What will you tell them? She asked fearfully. I smiled then, cold, calculated. Oh, don't worry about that. They'll know everything by tomorrow morning. Everyone will, I promised. The color that had drained from her face somehow got paler. You wouldn't, she gasped. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., everyone on your contacts list is getting an email. The wives of your boyfriends, too, complete with photos, videos, timestamps. Your co-workers, your yoga class, your book club, I explained matter-of-factly. You can't, she shrieked. That's revenge porn. I'll sue. It's evidence in a divorce proceeding that happens to be shared with interested parties, I corrected. My lawyer assures me it's perfectly legal given the circumstances. Besides, you seemed pretty proud of your performance in those videos. Shouldn't you want everyone to see? She ran then, stumbling in her heels toward the garage, sobbing hysterically. I watched from the doorway as she grabbed boxes frantically, shoving what she could into her car. Designer clothes spilling onto the driveway, shoes scattered, the detritus of a life built on deception. 20 minutes later, her car was full, and she stood by the driver's door, looking back at the house. Our house, my house, one last time. I loved you, she said quietly. Whatever you think, I did love you. No, I replied. You loved what I provided. The security, the comfort, the fool who paid the bills while you played. That's not love, Claire. That's parasitism. She drove away without another word, taillights disappearing into the darkness. I closed the door, locked it, and stood in my empty house. Quiet, peaceful. The camera was still recording. I walked over and stopped it, then sat on the couch, my couch, and opened my laptop. One more thing to do. I pulled up the scheduled emails, hovering my finger over the cancel button. For a moment, just a moment, I considered mercy. Then I remembered last Thursday night. Her coming home, kissing me with those lying lips, telling me she missed me. I closed the laptop without canceling anything. I woke Tuesday morning to 63 missed calls and over 200 text messages. The emails had sent at 8 p.m. as scheduled, and Westbrook's social ecosystem had exploded overnight. I turned off my phone and made coffee, savoring the silence. By the time I arrived at work, the storm was in full force. My desk phone rang constantly. I unplugged it. Colleagues kept stopping by my office with sympathetic faces and barely concealed curiosity. I thanked them for their concern and kept my door locked. Around lunch, Steve knocked persistently until I let him in. "Jesus Christ, Ryan, I saw the emails. Everyone saw the emails. Are you okay?" he asked with genuine concern. "I'm fine," I replied, returning to my code review. "Better than fine, actually." "Claire's lost it," he continued, settling into my guest chair uninvited. "She's been calling everyone, trying to do damage control, claiming the videos are deep fakes, that you're having some kind of breakdown." "Are people believing her?" I asked. "Are you kidding?" he scoffed. "The metadata on those files is rock solid. Plus, Derek's wife confirmed everything. She confronted him last night and he broke down completely. Admitted to a 6-month affair. 6 months. Longer than I'd found evidence for. Jake's fiancée called off the wedding," Steve continued, clearly relishing the drama. "Posted on Facebook that she's grateful someone had the courage to expose the truth before she made the biggest mistake of her life." I felt a grim satisfaction at that. At least one person had been saved from years of deception. Wednesday brought escalation. Claire tried to return to the house while I was at work, but the new locks held. She left a rambling, tearful voicemail begging for her things, for money, for mercy. I forwarded it to my lawyer. Her friends, former friends, began reaching out with their own stories. Melissa admitted she'd known about Derek but thought it was a one-time mistake. Sarah confessed she'd seen Claire leave a bar with a stranger 3 years ago but kept quiet. The network of enablers collapsed as they scrambled to distance themselves from the scandal. Thursday, Claire's employer called. Would I please ask my wife to stop showing up at the boutique? She'd been let go Tuesday morning after customers complained, and security had been forced to escort her out when she wouldn't leave. I informed them she was no longer my wife and gave them her lawyer's number. By Friday, the full scope of consequences had materialized. Claire had moved in with her cousin 40 miles away. Her parents had refused to take her in, mortified by the shame she'd brought on the family. Derek's divorce was proceeding at light speed. His wife's attorney had reached out to mine for evidence. Jake had been kicked out by his fiancée and was living in an extended-stay motel. The social media massacre was complete. Claire's Instagram, once full of supportive comments on her couple photos, was now a wasteland of deleted accounts and brutal honesty. Someone had started a Westbrook Cheaters Facebook page featuring her videos as the inaugural post. It had over 3,000 members by Friday afternoon. I spent the weekend deep cleaning the house, erasing 12 years of Claire's presence. Her photos went into storage. Not destroyed, I wasn't that petty, but banished from sight. I repainted our bedroom, my bedroom, a color she'd always hated. Bought new sheets, new towels, new everything. The master bathroom, which had been cluttered with her beauty products, became Spartan and functional. The following Monday brought a surprise. A woman named Amanda reached out, Jake's ex-fiancée. She wanted to thank me personally for saving her from a marriage built on lies. We met for coffee. I know this is weird, she said, wrapping her hands around her mug. But I needed to look you in the eye and say thank you. You could have just divorced quietly, kept it private. but you made sure people knew the truth. I'm sorry you got caught in the crossfire, I replied, meaning it. Don't be, she insisted. Better to find out now than after kids, after building a whole life together. She paused, studying me. How are you doing? Really? She asked. Free, I answered honestly. For the first time in years, I'm free. 2 weeks after the explosion, life had found a new rhythm. The calls had stopped, the gossip had moved on to fresher scandals. Claire had finally retained a lawyer who sent a pathetic settlement offer. She wanted $50,000 to restart her life. Catherine laughed as she drafted our response, a simple no with a reminder of the prenup's terms. A month later, the divorce was final. Claire didn't contest it. She couldn't. She showed up to court in a borrowed suit, looking haggard and 10 years older. We didn't speak, didn't make eye contact. When the judge granted the dissolution, she walked out without a backward glance. That evening, I sat on my deck with a beer, watching the sunset over Westbrook. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number, Claire's new phone, presumably. I hope you're happy now. You've destroyed everything, the message read. I deleted it without responding and blocked the number. She was wrong anyway. I hadn't destroyed everything. She had destroyed everything. I had just made sure everyone knew it. 6 months have passed since that Monday evening when Claire's world, our world, came crashing down. I'm sitting in my newly renovated home office, the one she always wanted to turn into a craft room, writing this account for therapeutic reasons my counselor suggested. Write it all down, doctor, Martinez said. Then let it go. The house feels different now, lighter. The walls hold no secrets, no lies. I've redecorated completely, not out of pain, but out of preference. For 12 years, I compromised on everything from furniture to wall colors. Now, my home reflects who I actually am, not who I pretended to be for her. I hear updates occasionally, always secondhand, always unsolicited. Claire moved to Charlotte, got a job at a department store, lives in a studio apartment. Her Instagram is private now, only 43 followers instead of the 2,000 she once boasted. Someone showed me a photo. She looks older, harder, like life has finally presented her with a bill she can't charm her way out of paying. Derek's ex-wife sends Christmas cards. She got the house, the kids, and most of his 401k. She seems happy. Jake moved back to Ohio, started over where nobody knows about the videos. The internet has a long memory, though. His name will forever be linked to the scandal in search results. I've been dating again, cautiously. Full disclosure up front about my past, my trust issues, and yes, about what I did. Some women are horrified by the nuclear option I chose. Others admire it. Sarah, the woman I've been seeing for 2 months, falls into the latter category. You gave her exactly what she deserved, she said on our 3rd date. Actions have consequences. Some people have called me vindictive, cruel, excessive. They say I should have just divorced her quietly, taken the high road. These people have never been betrayed. Not really. They've never sat across from someone they gave everything to and realized they were living with a stranger. They've never had to smile through the taste of another man on their wife's lips. The truth is, I sleep perfectly now. 8 hours straight, no anxiety, no racing thoughts. My conscience is clear. I didn't create those videos. Claire did. I didn't make those choices. Claire did. All I did was ensure that the truth came to light and that consequences followed actions. Justice isn't always pretty. It's not always clean or comfortable or socially acceptable. Sometimes justice is harsh and public and devastating. But it is necessary. I think about the other women sometimes. Derek's wife, Jake's fiancée, women who deserved the truth about the men they'd pledged their lives to. Would it have been kinder to stay silent, to let them continue living their lies? I don't think so. The truth, brutal as it was, set them free too. My lawyer called last week. Claire had reached out through her attorney, asking if I'd be willing to sign a statement saying the revenge porn case had been settled privately, essentially a gag order on the whole incident. The offer was that she'd never contact me again if I agreed. I declined. She already can't contact me. Restraining order took care of that after she showed up drunk at my office 2 months ago. And I won't participate in rewriting history to save what's left of her reputation. The truth remains the truth, whether or not it's comfortable. People ask if I regret going nuclear, if I wish I'd handled things differently. The answer is always no. Claire made calculated choices for months, possibly years, weighing the risk of getting caught against the thrill of her affairs. She gambled that I was too trusting, too passive, too in love to ever discover the truth. And if I had discovered it, she bet I'd be too civilized to do anything beyond a quiet divorce. She lost that bet spectacularly. There's a poetic justice in how it ended. The very technology that enabled her affairs, phones, cameras, social media, became the tools of her downfall. The same network she used to coordinate her deceptions became the channel through which her truth was exposed. I'm 39 now, still young enough to start over properly this time. Wiser about red flags, more careful about trust, but not bitter. That's the surprising part. I'm not bitter. Bitter would mean she still had power over me, that her choices still defined my emotions. Instead, I'm at peace. A peace that comes not from forgiveness, I haven't forgiven her and never will, but from justice. Complete, thorough, irreversible justice. Claire wanted to have her cake and eat it too. She wanted the security of marriage and the excitement of affairs. She wanted the faithful husband at home and the wild nights with strangers. She wanted to be both the devoted wife and the reckless player. In the end, she got none of it, and I got my life back. That's justice enough for me. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.